just wanted to start by saying I'm so emotional right now, and I was in that chair just crying and shaking, and you know, I'm wondering why. My mother's asking me, "Are you crying?" And I was like, "Yeah." It's because since I was in my 20s and 90s, I have felt personal responsibility for this situation. And what I don't understand is why more people do not feel personally guilty, ashamed, and carrying it like it's our burden. I don't have to know half of those kids to understand that they're my people. And I feel like I wanted to share, that's why I didn't offer in the talk, because I was going to share some of my story here so you understand why I've internalized it so much. So in 1989, my cousin Keith got shot and killed at the park wall. I was very little then, but I could still feel the loss, even if I wasn't close to Keith. And I carried that loss with me. And in the 90s, I grew up and decided I had rejected, much to my mother's disappointments, I rejected institutionalized education as a path for myself because I realized what could they possibly teach me in their schools about how to be a human being and about God and about life and about justice. So I hit the streets and somebody got killed. I don't even remember who it was because it didn't even matter who it was. We're killing each other. Like, I want to solve this. So I started going down by the park wall. That's where I met Dana Haywood, and God rest his soul, and Dana Carmo, and was trying to organize, and the next thing you know, it just turned into like the mayor trying to give me a job, and I was like, what in the world does that have to do with what I'm out here doing? But you can see how they set you up to like get you quiet. You know what I mean? Like, wait, give me a job, I said, give the job to the next one. That's not what it is. But in that struggle, what I realized is the complexities of forgiveness and healing are so immense that, you know, I definitely thought as a kind of starry-eyed kid from Fairhaven, I was just gonna come in here and like, what's the beef? Like, let's solve it. But the reality is that when somebody kills somebody that you love, you know what I mean? That's hard to let go. You understand? And that complexity was very overwhelming for me to really deal with as a teenager and as a young adult. But I had so much faith, belief, and power that we could do something about it because it's so small, and that's what's so upsetting too on another level. And Michael calls it a 13 by 3 mile problem. There are not that many of us at all that we can't actually solve this. But what it's going to take is like some Harriet Tubman type energy, some Amilcar Cabral. Like, we can't just be ordinary. We can't just be like, well, let's play a movie and go home and go. Like, you should go to bed and cry. You should go to bed and you should wake up in the morning and think, what can you actually do? Because it's so unbelievable to me that we think there's nothing that can be done about this. So then in 2009-ish, another cousin, my cousin Buddha, gets killed. And of course, everybody just had nothing to say good about him. You know what I mean? Like, as if he wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? And that overwhelmed me because I already felt like I blew it. And that's what I want you to understand. If you want to take things on, you have to feel it like it's part of you. Like, so you're shaking and you're crying, so that you will be motivated from an internal space to actually do something. So Buddha gets killed. I didn't even know his little sister Kayla, but you call me a spiritual warrior, and that's what I am. And that's how I'm representing here today, and that's the only identity that matters to me on this earth, other than being, I guess you could say, an African spiritual warrior. I wouldn't need to add that. But Spiritual Warrior Society started because Buddha got killed. And I met my cousin Kayla, and she was devastated, and said, what do you want to do? And then the kind of youth program at Treatment on the Nail wasn't going that great at the time, so I was like, let's just start this thing. And so Kayla went and got Tati. They were all 7. She was like 8, 9 years old, 10 years old. Probably she was 10. Tati was about 10. Mateo was 6. And it was just us, and we started it above Treatment on the Nail. And this is also something you cannot understand, because some of you are not deeply connected to your own actual blood family, and that's just reality, right? Everybody has that experience where they have like uncles and aunts they're not that close to, or maybe a mother and father they're not that close to, or they're not connected to their own So I understand it will be hard for you to understand why Mateo meant so much to me, because I did not birth him and he is not a blood relative to me, but he was my entire legacy. He was that one kid that just got it. He just understood, to the point that when he did get killed, they referred to him as a spiritual warrior in the newspaper, because that's who he was. And yes, he was my favorite. And yes, the children always used to accuse me of him being my favorite, because he was amazing. He was like, could break dance, could do sports, like came early, stayed late, like hid in my cabinets, came over when it was snowing. Like, he was my homeboy. He was my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? And he was a little kid. But you know, I got married, I moved away, different things happened, you know, but then this power project they talk about, I gotta be honest with you. I told y'all from jump, that shit was not gonna last, and it wasn't really gonna work out, because programs are not doing that in this world. I got involved in that because by this time I realized if we're not dealing with the internal conditions, like, on everything I love, like, I'm not saying F what they do, but I kinda am though, because you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it's about who we are trying to be and how we're willing to make a stand. So let me just tell you about some of the crazy things that happened when Mateo died. So I thought, okay, I got an idea now. You know, nothing else has really worked around this whole South End, West End situation, but art and like signs. And so I got my dad hyped, and I made these signs, and we put the signs up, and an elder, who I won't even mention, but a well-known elder in this community, took the signs down. The sign said, "Stop self-destruction," in the name of Mateo something, because Mateo's not from here. They said, I was gonna get people killed by putting up signs. My dad was gonna put a sign on his thing saying, "Stop the violence," name of Mateo. We were gonna have it, make a bunch of signs, the same way y'all wanna put political signs because you think that's gonna make a whole big difference in your world on your lawn. What if we had put signs like saying, like, we need to stop killing each other, young people? Like, what if there were 1,000 signs? But that just sort of got deflated because everybody got in their own fear. So fearful that it doesn't make sense to me. So then, we had just did a song leader mission. So I'm not here really to perform, I'm here to share this and to song lead, because I think we need like a little bit more song leaders and a lot less divas in the world. I'm not saying I can't be a diva sometimes, but I'm just saying, you know, so we had just did this, and Mateo dies, and we decided we're gonna sing his name, and we're gonna write all these songs, and we're gonna walk from the South End to the West End. We're gonna stop everywhere that somebody dies, has died in this way, and honor him and honor all these things. Don't you know people were scared? They were scared, and they said, "You're gonna get in trouble, something's gonna happen." I said, "Listen, you're scared of the children, my dude? You're scared of the children? I'm not scared of no children." You know what I'm saying? I'm just not. You know what I mean? I love children. So, but the fear kept a lot of people, so a lot of people from out of town came, but it was really beautiful. So I'm gonna open up just with saying that, all that to you, and say that the Spiritual Warrior Society, my identity as a spiritual warrior really comes from this. And I'm gonna just sing Mateo's name. I'm gonna take this libation and pour it on a tree after, but this is what we sang. And we sang it at the Park Wall where Keith got killed, because you can say Mateo's from the West End, y'all can say whatever you want to say about Mateo. He went to the daycare in the South End. That's the other thing. It's not even a 13 by 3 mile problem. It's like a mile problem between the West End and the South End, so it makes no sense. So anyway, I'm just gonna sing for my boy. I loved him, and you can't like even begin to understand unless your concept of family is bigger than just like the people you make and the people who have your blood relation. Like, I don't expect you all to get it, but I hope that you could at least feel this, because this is love, this is God, this is how we're supposed to love each other as one people, and we're supposed to feel it in our marrow of our bones. Mateo, oh Mateo, 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 oh Mateo, 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 oh Mateo, 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 oh Mateo, 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 oh Mateo, 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 Mateo. Okay, so I wrote this little thing yesterday, just a little, it's just gonna be like freestyle into different things that I want to share with you. So this is what I think is the problem with us. They say we're afraid of our own children. They say we're afraid of our own kind. Consciousness has left the building, the downfall won't be far behind. They say we're afraid of our own children. They think we're afraid of our own kind. Consciousness has left the building, the downfall's not too far behind. They say we're afraid of our own children. They say we're afraid of our own minds. Consciousness has left the body temple, the downfall's not too far behind. This is a song I wrote for me too. No, I'm gonna sing that last. I got 2 more things to do. So it does not also escape my attention and my reality as a God-filled person with consciousness that this is also a setup. They absolutely want us killing each other. We're absolutely falling into their traps. It's absolutely part of the problem. That doesn't make us not personally responsible for what we have to do, but we have to have the consciousness that this is like, goes way back, and this is a dastardly scheme and plan to destroy black people and the power that they have on this earth. Like, that has to be in your consciousness. And the self-destruction that we engage in, we have to do the internal work, and that's what it means to be a spiritual warrior, to self-initiate into your own sense of your own spirit, to find your own power. Our beliefs are love, light, leadership, power, and freedom. But some of y'all want to be like love and light, and I feel you. That's real pretty, and also love is multidimensional, as Eric was saying earlier. But what about that leadership, power, and freedom? You know what I mean? What happened to black power? Like, y'all cool to say Black Lives Matter? That's a little bit, I'll just say, it's a little bit embarrassing to me after everything that's happened, that we had to say, like, Black Lives Matter. We should have probably been, I just feel more like Black Power, because that was a thing, but I really don't see it. I'm getting off that topic, because I have mad respect, though, for everybody who decided to get involved in whatever aspect of it, whatever movement that they wanted to be in. That is a good thing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, though, my thoughts on that. Okay, so I'm going to just take it back to this kind of image of this setup. The song from Billie Holiday, I think is relevant. Southern trees bear strange fruit, blood on the leaves, and blood at the root. Black bodies swinging in the southern breeze, strange fruit hanging from the poplar tree, pastoral scene of the gallant South, the bulging eyes and the twisted mouth, magnolia, sweet and French, then the sudden smell of burning flesh. cry. So, the next one. She died for that song. She died for that song. They killed her for that song. So she died for that song. And then this is one that I wrote from the table. And for all of us to just see our power in this. Because quite frankly, like bigger problems have been solved. There have been bigger gang violence like brokerage of deals and people like in bigger cities. They've done it all over the world. So every time y'all be saying like nothing we can do about it, like you can do something about it because like powerful. We're so powerful. We have no idea how powerful we are and what separates us from like Harriet Tubman. I just have to say it because she was like disabled, narcoleptic, a slave, a child, and she ended up freeing thousands of people single-handedly. And her brothers were too shook to get free. She went anyway. She went back and got her parents like in plain sight, like I'm coming to free slaves. Like I don't understand why we don't see ourselves in our ancestors. We are our ancestors. We are our ancestors. We are our ancestors. It's not somebody read about a book and go, I wish I could be. I wish I. What are you talking about? We are our ancestors. There's nothing separating you from the greatest El-Hajj Malik Shabazz minds on this earth, but a choice and a decision to turn your power up. So anyway, it's last one. Eric got me out here emotional.
You turning me up.
Okay. So now thank you, Eric, though, for real. I really needed to be here so I could renew my commitment because I see that this is part of my responsibility in life. You know what I'm saying? So this is a great renewal. So I'm very appreciative that something sacred and beautiful and God-filled happened tonight for me, and I hope for others. It ain't enough, come on, turn your powers up and need it. Mateo died in the streets of New Beat, leading now. Only 15 trips around the sun, snuffed out like he was no one, like a low down, no count, no good son, but he was our everything. He was our everything. He was Nakia's dream. He was our everything. He was Nakia's dream. West End and South End is all alive. Mateo Morales never had to die. West End and South End is all alive. Mateo never had to die. Hear my cry. Hear this cry. Join this cry. Join this cry. And the hood still remembers from December to November thoughts of you. The cost of the future, the legacy we lost in you. So I'll say it with my chest as long as I trial gonna do now? Justice only comes when we solve this 13 by 3 mile problem. And turn your powers up, hey, turn your powers up, turn your powers up, turn your powers up, in the name of Mateo. It's not enough, come on, turn your powers up, they're needed. Come on, turn your powers up, turn your powers up, turn your powers up, turn your powers up, turn your powers up. He was our everything. He is the kid's dream. He is our everything. He is the kid's dream. And he is Mateo's mom.
Powerful. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, when you get moved to tears, that's another form of libation. Allow that to come through. I had a person tell me that in the Maori culture, the word for tears is water from my ancestors. So when someone brings us to tears, the tears are for our ancestors. And that was beautiful.